maybe the biggest change we're going to see is how much Jackson Hawes is going to be used instead of Alec Anderson, or how they kind of juggle that, because the Bills, of course, like their heavy sets and their extra offensive linemen. Did they draft Hawes to give them more flexibility when they're in that set?
Yes, 100%. Jackson Hawes, to me, is going to be the new Alec Anderson. And this is not anything new. We've talked about it since he was drafted. What does that mean? Well, instead of the Bills having a guy go in and say, I'm eligible, and the referee says, number 70 is reporting eligible, and everybody knows that they have an extra lineman in, and he's a very good blocker and he can block. Now the Bills don't have to have a guy go report because he's wearing an eligible number. He can still do the exact same thing because he's, as Joe Brady said yesterday, by the way, the best blocking tight end they've ever evaluated. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
He gets on the field, and now you can throw him a pass. And he has an 80s number. And not only is he eligible, like Alec Anderson would be, it's actually what he does. Like, he's a tight end, right? He's caught passes his whole life. And I do think that's the case. So what the Bills have always tried to do under Joe Brady, even Ken Dorsey, like just this philosophy they have as an organization, and I think Joe Brady has really leaned into it as much as he can. The Bills have tried to just dictate what you have to do on defense, right? Which is, okay, if we do this, you have to counter this way. And that's what we want, right? Like you talking about, Joe, how Taron Johnson says we invite teams to run. The Bills want to do that on offense. They want to say, hey, look, when we put this guy in the field, we know you have to put another linebacker, and that's what we want. So we're going to do that. When we don't have this guy in the field, we know you're going to have to put another DB, and that's what we want. I do think that. And I'm wondering if we even see like 3 tight end sets with Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, and Jackson Hawes. Now, traditionally, you hear 3 tight ends, you're pounding the ball. That does not have to be what the Buffalo Bills do. They want to throw the ball to their tight ends and use those matchups to their advantage. And now they have a really terrific blocking tight end in Jackson Hawes. What they believe is and should be and is, but he had some injuries last year, a really good receiving target tight end in Dalton Kincaid, who can be a matchup problem, and a guy who's kind of in between, and Dawson Knox, who can kind of do a little bit of everything.